Let's roll, baby. Welcome in. It is a Wednesday edition of the New York Sports Rush presented by the Bet Rivers Network. Sal alongside John Jastrzemski. And Sal, I'll hit the ground running. You're wearing a shirt. I want to do this right out of the gate. We'll get to the Yankees in a second. We'll get to some football stuff momentarily. We know what the opponents are going to be for the Knicks opening night, and we know what the deal is going to be on Christmas Day. I absolutely love it. I love it. Let's get the LeBron nonsense out of the way. LeBron in a Sixers uniform, first time you're going to see it. Matchup I think everybody wants to see at some point this year. Why waste any time? And, oh, by the way, LeBron James is coming to get to watch the banner go up at Madison Square Garden. And then on Christmas, Sal, Wemby, he already got a lump of coal from Santa Claus. He gets to get another one this year. How cool is that?
I know, but my issue with the Christmas stuff, and the Knicks usually do have the noon game. Where are you at? And now your daughter's a little too young still to.
Well, listen, she's too young where it's going to be like insanity, me putting together stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
Noon at Christmas is like it's become like tradition now for the Knicks. There's nothing you can do.
You're right, which is fine. And I think I'd rather have that than later in the day, especially up against the NFL. By the way, side note, before I give you my thought on the Knicks, Christmas Day is going to be loaded.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this. I said it on SNY. The divorce rates in this country may go up a little bit, maybe on January 2nd or January 3rd when daddy's like, hey, I got to watch Bills Broncos. I got to watch Knicks Spurs. It's like,
bro,
really?
it's insane. So, yes, I like the idea of the noon. It's becoming a tradition. Usually, though, for me, that's background noise during Christmas morning and playing with Sammy and whatever, doing the toy stuff. But having that on as background this year, a little different when you're talking about the Spurs coming to town. And then the opener, like the thing is, you could have separated LeBron's first game as a Sixer and the Knicks opening night. To me, it does. The example that I used before was in 2000, we had different sides of it, right? You're a Yankee fan, so you've experienced the World Series many times over. For me, I didn't. It was the first time since 1986, my first time as a teenager experiencing the Mets in the World Series. And I didn't love that the Yankees were there, not just because I hated the Yankees, but because I knew it was going to be.
You wanted that standalone moment to shine.
It was going to be a shared spotlight. It wasn't the Mets getting to the World Series. It was the Subway Series. And we're going to have something similar that night. Now, you or I, we're going to celebrate the banner and the Knicks being champions. We don't care about that necessarily. But big picture, the story is not going to be singularly focused on the Knicks. It's going to be about the Knicks raising the banner. Oh, and by the way, LeBron is a member of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay, my pushback, though, who would have been the team that would have been a satisfying opener then for the Knicks with the Celtics?
Yeah, I would have taken almost anybody. Celtics, Pacers, Heat.
You knew it was going to be a good team, though. They were going to put some stiff team there. They were going to put I don't know. They were going to put the Brooklyn Nets.
I'm fine with it. Well, whatever. Anyway, but then, so the more I think about it, the more I'm coming in alignment with you. So my initial thought was that, and I still think that is the case. But now I'm thinking about it. You know what? Screw LeBron and the Philadelphia loser Sixers fans. Let them. LeBron wanted to be here on banner night. He was just hoping he was going to be a part of the home team. And now we get to rub his face in it. And the 76ers fans, that they're all going to be excited to see their new guy, LeBron, in a Sixers uniform. They have to watch now the Knicks be crowned champions once again, raise that banner, get the rings. It's going to be front and center. So I couldn't think of a better opponent to rub it in their face than the loser Sixers fans and, of course, LeBron James, who wanted the Knicks. And they said, nah, we're good. Our throne is already occupied, King James. You could go down south to Philadelphia where the second-class citizens go.
Well, that's what I like. It's the idea of the Knicks now getting the chance to remind Philadelphia and remind LeBron James, come for us, right? Come for us. Like, make that statement right out of the gate. Game number one, banners up, rings around your finger. And, oh, by the way, we're the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. So I'm glad you've come along on this. It took a couple of hours. You just needed to convince yourself. And I feel like you're now on board with Knicks Sixers as the opening.
I mean, I do think the NBA, they didn't need to. By the way, what is the NBA doing with the game at 3:00 in the afternoon? Like the Knicks.
Well, you know what that is. They want to pump up their Peacock app. They're not going to put it on TV. I would doubt it. I bet they want people going to the app.
So, but why at 3? You're saying because then it's a standalone game.
Listen, I'm not defending it. It's weird. There has to be, Sal, some sort of metric that the geniuses in either the NBA offices or NBC Peacock are trying out that would justify it. Like, I think if we had one of their, like, scheduling people on, they'd have a very, very good reason for it. That's my take.
Also, they could do it the next night. Like, isn't it tradition that the team that wins the championship plays the first game of the year? Opening night, here's the first game. Knicks, Sixers, LeBron, Knicks raise the banner. And then the next day, you could do a 3 o'clock game. I thought the game was maybe being played in Germany or something. I'm like, why is it at 3 in the afternoon? You're right. Maybe it is the app. And also, it's the Pistons. Like, come on. I know that they were pretty good this year, but the Pistons are going to be the first team that opens up.
Well, the good news for you, Sal, you're not going to watch a minute of that game.
Correct.
You're going to be focused on the Knicks, so you'll be okay. I don't think you'll be going to Peacock to watch Celtics Pistons at 3 o'clock. So for all intents and purposes, the first NBA game of the year for Sal Licata, and yeah, probably for John Jastrzemski, because I can't imagine it's October. I might be golfing. The Yankees hopefully are in the playoffs. Hopefully I'm occupied until that Knick game gets going. And that is a perfect transition for where I want to go here, Sal. The Yankees they're anything but pretty. I can't sit there and tell you that for 6 innings of this game against the Seattle Mariners on Monday night, I'm especially overconfident. I'm especially enthused. I'm not exactly enjoying watching them on a nightly basis, but I have to give credit where credit is due. Sal, despite the fact that lead is not what it should be for the Rays in the AL East, you look over the last month, the Yankees really have done nothing but win.
Yeah, I don't know how they continue to do it, dude. You watch the game, it's the same script every night. They don't score for first 5 or 6 innings. The pitching keeps them in it. They get a couple of timely hits, and away we go, and they keep winning games, winning series. It's a miracle. It is actually a miracle what they do when you look at the lineup. Don't have a leadoff hitter. You could bring in a lefty to get through Grisham and then Rice. They've been susceptible to that. Jazz Chisholm has not done what he's supposed to do. I think McMahon has done a nice job here. Ryan McMahon has contributed. I know the numbers aren't great. He's contributed some big hits or even big sac flies, big moments to this Yankees team when they've needed anybody to step up and do it. So, I look, defense, yes, that's been good from, obviously Lombard, watching him play short again last night with the bare hand play. You see that one hitting off.
You're not even surprised anymore with Lombard. That's how good he is defensively. You're like, oh, great. Yeah.
Their defense on the left side is top notch with McMahon and Lombard there. So, you're right. They just keep winning games here. I still think the division is going to be an uphill battle. I'm less confident now in the Red Sox as they hit a little bit of the skids here. I wonder if they're going to be able to dig out of it, and we'll find out in a couple of weeks. But I would think that the Yankees are going to have an uphill battle here. Dude, they got to get healthy. At least Bellinger, they got to start to get healthy before I really think they could take a run at the Rays.
All right, a lot to unpack there. I want to start with Ryan McMahon. I think you're so spot on. I think Ryan McMahon, if you take away his April, has been a competent Yankee. And I almost think, Sal, in a way, we have to, as baseball fans, reevaluate how we look at offensive players. What do I mean by that? Look at the sport, dude. Nobody hits. We think this is like a problem, like tied to the Yankees. How many guys are hitting over 300 right now? Look at how the collective average, the collective OPS, all of this stuff is down throughout the sport. Why is it down? Well, I have a pretty simple answer. It is harder than ever to hit a baseball. Just is. Like, it's frustrating for you when the Yankees and the Mets don't hit. It's frustrating for me when the Yankees and the Mets don't hit. But I do think there's something to the idea that, hey, guys throw harder than ever. There's more spin than ever. They're throwing different guys out of the bullpen. That's why, like, the 220 has become normalized. That's why lower OPSs have become normalized. And I bring that up because, Ryan McMahon, for like an old school baseball fan, they're going to be like, his numbers are disgusting. And I'm not suggesting I like him against left-handed pitching. I'm not suggesting that he's some like big time hitter. But like, if you watch the games, like you're mentioning, on a nightly basis, he has had a lot of big hits for the Yankees. There's something to that. And then you throw in the defense he provides. That's how he, in theory, becomes a useful player for your team.
Yeah, I'd rather live with McMahon at third and move on from Jazz, who just drives you nuts on a nightly basis. One easy play, he boots it. Another play, he makes a great athletic play. And to your point about McMahon, when you look at the rest of the numbers or around the league, you could not be more on point with that one. And I was thinking about that from a Mets perspective, and I forget the exact player, but I'm thinking like, man, these guys just aren't that good. And then you look around the league, and it's like, well, nobody's good. Nobody's consistent anymore. Whether it's teams, even the Mets, as bad as they've been, I'm like, the Pirates are buyers. The Mets are, you could argue, better than the Pirates right now. And the Mets have been awful all year, and they're 6 games worse than the Pirates, or whatever it was after they swept them. I was looking that up. But yes, even as an individual player with the stats, consistency around the league's a problem. When you have a guy like Vlad Guerrero Jr., a superstar, struggling the way that he did, or Tatis not being able to hit home runs earlier in the year, even some other stars just scuffling for whatever reason it may be, then I think it's okay to look at a guy like McMahon and say, well, yeah, he strikes out a lot, but he's also hitting in the bottom of the order and plays excellent defense at third and in big spots, been able to put the bat on the ball, whether it's a big home run, a big hit, a big sac fly, which has helped the Yankees out. The only thing I would disagree, I don't think it's just about the better pitching. I also think it's about philosophy with the launch
approach.
Angle.
That's also fair.
Yeah,
that's also fair.
The approach and the launch angle that has been embedded in these guys for years, like let's say however long it's been, 5-10 years, you're starting to see it now more consistently throughout the league where this is the norm. Somebody hits 250, it's like, wow, 250. You'd sign for that. Whereas it used to be 250. That's garbage.
Yeah, and I think that is definitely spot on. It's part philosophy in the minor leagues. It's also part, hey, these guys are really talented as pitchers now. Like the skill level of pitchers. Like Sal, you used to see guys come up and like 95 was a big deal. Now,
Right.
dude, 95 is nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's a matter of like you have to throw high 90s and have crazy spin unless you're like some anomaly of a pitcher. Like even like McClain, he pitched really well yesterday for the Mets. You see 97 with spin now a lot from a lot of different guys. I'm not trying to knock Nolan McClain. It's just a reality. Like everybody in baseball has like that version of that sort of stuff. They
do have to figure out a way to adjust because the sport is ultimately about offense. Like I love the pitching stuff, but it shouldn't be that way when these pitchers. It'd be different if you had dominant starting pitchers that were going 7 or 8 innings regularly. That's not even the case. So it's a lot of the bullpen guys also being nasty. And I do think it's a lot of the lack of quality approach against more enhanced, sophisticated pitching and just stronger pitching, whether it's the power or, like you said, the spin rate.
All right, Yankee question for you.
Yeah.
So Will Warren's pitching tonight.
What are you, sick, by the way? You sound like you got a cold. You
better? No, fine. You know what it is? I haven't had coffee yet, so maybe it might be groggy, JJ.
I got it. Roll
Not
out of
groggy,
bed.
But it may have a little bit of the lump in your throat, like that morning fog. The alarm didn't go off today. It was one of those. It was like, whoa. baby woke up very briefly with mom. I got to sleep through. I see 9:50 on the alarm. I'm like, we got to go here. We got a show to do. Better get my ass in gear.
Yeah.
But from a Yankee standpoint, Warren goes today. Weathers has pitched better, but he's coming up on innings. Most innings he's thrown in his career. I also think he's got stuff that might be better suited to pitching out of the bullpen. Do you care who the Yankees move there? Or it doesn't matter to you.
No, I mean, I trust Boone to figure it out. Although I would say that Weathers, to me, like, why would you move something that isn't broken? Now, I know when you talk about Rodon being back in that rotation, dude, honestly, I trust Weathers more than Rodon. How could you not? At this point, I know Rodon's got better stuff. Would you not trust Weathers more than him in the rotation?
I'm not there.
Wow.
Because you know why? Because I've seen Weathers. I know we're talking about maybe the best stretch of baseball he's pitched all year. We've seen these games with Weathers where he goes and gets lit up like a pumpkin. And I know Rodon can too, but I just think body of work wise, this is not some like major, like, oh my God, I love Carlos Rodon as a pitcher, but I don't want to be too, what's the word?
Yeah,
I don't want to be giving too much praise to Ryan Weathers. You know what I mean?
I would rather have a guy like Weathers in my rotation. Now, you could also factor in price if you want and all that, but I just think Rodon is supposed to be so much better than he's been, and so he's under-delivering the expectations. Weathers has over-delivered the expectations. Here's the way that I would counter back to you. I think Weathers is the better of the two. Forget Rodon. I'm talking about Warren now. I think Weathers is the better of the two. You tell me where you think he could be most useful.
Yeah, I think it's the bullpen. I think it's the bullpen because his stuff is nasty, like from a 1 or a 2 inning standpoint.
They do already have Hedrick, though, who's another lefty. Now you're going to put Weathers back there again. I mean, I guess you could never have enough, but.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, though.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. You're right. It's not a perfect balance, but that's a decision the Yankees are going to have to make here because Rodon is basically on the way back. And then, I mean, you want one of those two guys really comfortable pitching out of the bullpen by the end of the year. I'm thinking you're going to get your righty and Schmidt, and then you have your lefty and Weathers, and those are 2 bullpen arms that are helping your team.
Right. Plus Weathers, nostalgia with Weathers coming out of the bullpen.
Stormy Weathers, yes.
Yeah. Who could forget that face? David Weathers. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're gonna keep Weathers in the rotation, but if you're doing it to get ready for postseason, I mean, really, then you get it. Both are gonna be out of the pen in the come the postseason. If you're doing it to get ready for the postseason and you value Weathers on more, then maybe it is better to just bite the bullet now, put him in the pen because you know definitively that's where he's going to be. You have Warren fill that spot for now, and the fifth rotation spot for now, and then when need be, come the postseason, you move Warren back to the pen.
Fair enough. That's going to be a question for the Yankees. They got 2 more games coming up with the Seattle Mariners, you Mets. You knew the good times were going to end eventually. They get shut out by the Atlanta Braves. That's the good news, Sal, about being out of it, by the way. It's like, all right, no sweat.
Yeah.
Like they win a couple of games, they're watchable for a few days, and now it's back to the abyss. So I don't think Licata was losing any sleep last night after getting shut out.
No, not at all. The only thing with the Mets that's relevant is Lindor. I don't know if you saw this, but Lindor, I guess, spoke to the Post last night, and it's more the same about him not wanting to move on. But the way that Heyman posted on Twitter was like Lindor is going to be here a very long time. You and I have talked about this quite a bit here. Lindor's starting to look like himself a little bit and has some value. Even me, I'm starting to change. Not that I wouldn't be open to trading him. I would be open to trading anybody. When you fail this miserably, everything should be on the table. Just because Lindor wants to be here and believes in the core and believes in the owner and president doesn't mean that he can't be moved. We've seen, and he has all, full trade rights or whatever. But it doesn't mean that he can't be moved. Where are you at with the idea of moving on from Lindor? You're still open to it, assuming he looks like himself the rest of the way. Would you be open to it, or are you now like, you know what, they should just keep him?
I lean towards keeping him,
Yeah,
but like you said, I'm open to almost anything with the Mets going
yeah,
into the offseason. I'm
yeah.
open to almost anything. So, like, if they want to go and have a conversation, it's like, hey, this is now time where we should go our separate ways, and that's the way Francisco feels. Then, hey, the Mets at least could sell from a better position of strength if Lindor plays well over the final 2 months of the
And by
year.
the way, don't you think that if they did, let's just say hypothetically, Lindor plays well the rest of the way, which I think is probably likely
He's
to
on his
happen.
way.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly right. He's looking again like himself. So let's say they revisit in the offseason, and even though he says he doesn't want to go anywhere and he has the right to veto any trade, if they go to him and be like, look, Francisco, we agreed to a deal with the Padres or whoever, pick a team. We're going to send you there. We think it's time to move on. Do you think that he's going to say, no, I want to be here? Imagine the blowback from that. So if it were me guessing in that spot, if the Mets still do want to trade him or decide to potentially trade him, I think that they still could. I just don't know if they will at this point.
Yeah, I think certain places he'd be receptive to going. And I think there are other places he'd be like, absolutely not. Like if the Mets said to him, I don't know, we have a trade for you to go to Minnesota to play for the Twins. I don't know how
Yeah,
that would go in the Lindor household, Sal.
that's
So
true. Yeah.
right now, percentages though, I would say it's 80 to 85% he's back with the Mets next year. Is that
That's
fair?
fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. Hard to say.
85%.
I think it's unlikely with a lot of they'd have to get a good player back. It's a lot of money. Would he accept it? Are they going to? There's a lot of. I think it's less likely that they would find a partner to agree on value for Lindor and the return than it is that they would agree and he says no. I think it's if he doesn't get traded, I think it's going to be because they can't find a fair deal for both sides, not because he doesn't want to go anywhere.
Well, that talk is quieted down. You knew it would. We'll see if it heats up again come off season time. Before we hit a couple of YouTube comments, are you from the football standpoint? The idea that the Giants did this whole 2.5 weeks in West Virginia,
Hmm.
the sense I'd get knowing you probably think it's a good thing for the Giants. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I like the idea of team building away from everything, away from the noise. Although I'd be lying to you if I said I really felt the difference. What's the difference for our standpoint, whether it's as fans or even as media members? Still the same media members who cover the team were there.
Well, I was going to say the media members who were there, they would feel differently than us who
All
were
right,
sitting at
but
home. Being in West Virginia for 2 weeks, I wouldn't be too happy.
agreed, but they were still there. So you and I were not going to Giants camp necessarily. Certainly not this year. But if they're still being covered by the New York media, then I don't know. I like the idea of team bonding though, away from the norm and change up routine. Dude, I think the Giants have a shot to be good this year. I mean, that's the bottom line for me. So whether it's Harbaugh taking them down there, getting themselves acclimated, getting them away from the noise, the health of neighbors, getting guys to buy in and be held accountable, the young talent that they have on both offense and defense, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to see it actually play out even as early as the preseason games. But I do think the Giants can be good this year.
So I'm telling you, if they split the first two games, Cowboys, Rams, which are incredibly difficult. Cowboys at home, we know what the history has been with those two teams. The Rams on a Monday night, they're actually going to get the Rams in a good spot because they're going to be coming back from Australia. So, yes, in theory, they'll have extra time to prepare, but dude, you're coming back from Australia.
Yeah.
The body, the mind, the operation is going to be a little all out of sorts. You walk away from those first two games, 1-1. Look at the schedule and after the fact for the Giants. It allows them to really settle in and set themselves up nicely to go and at the very least be in it all year. Like that's the goal for me with the Giants. Hey, can we be sitting here? Sal and JJ are talking on December the 15th. And it's like, hey, if the Giants go 3-1 in the next four, they'll make the playoffs.
Right.
Like that would be nice. What a concept.
I think we are going to get that. I think we'll get that with the Giants. With the Jets, I'm not sure. We've had this conversation. Like I don't think they're going to be very good. I'd love to be proven wrong on that. I think the Giants will give us a season. Just give us a season. That's all that we want. Are you excited though for the NFL? Like, no. Let me rephrase that. I know you're excited for the NFL season. Are you feeling it now? I find myself. I'm like, camp. It's boring. I don't know what it is. Even with Harbaugh, and that's maybe the most exciting thing between the two camps. I'm certainly not excited about anything with the Jets. If they had a rookie quarterback, maybe a different story. Even Hard Knocks, I used to be into that, and I'm not really into that.
I don't even like the preseason Hard Knocks anymore. I like the in-season. The in-season one is so much better. Yeah, I like that one so much more. I feel like I get so much more out of it. No, I'm not all the way there. I'm excited for the start of season.
Right.
But like as far as like this sort of crescendo, I'm kind of like if I had to grade it from like 1 to 10, I'm like a 4.5 right now.
It changes.
I feel like mentally I'm not there. I'm slowly but surely like doing all the I'm doing all the gambling shows. I'm getting like the over-unders, getting everything lined up. Once we get that moment, it might be this weekend. It might become Monday. There will be a moment where it's like, boom, it's 10
Here
out of
we
10.
are. Right. Yeah, I'm with you. And I love football. It's not just because I didn't grow up a diehard Giants or Jets fan. Like, to me, that's not it. I'm still in summer mode. And the way that it's evolved, maybe the shorter preseason. I don't know.
Dude, let me tell you something. Speaking of preseason, it's a total waste of time. If I were one of these coaches, I'd be like McVay. I wouldn't play any guy who's a veteran. Not a freaking soul.
So that's kind of the point too. Is it used to mean something? So there was a build up to the preseason, and then not that it meant everything, but it was a fair way to evaluate the team. Now it's totally worthless. So I know in my mind as a football fan that these camps, yeah, it's great now, but we're a month away from games still that matter. And essentially, the first few weeks of the regular season acts as the old preseason used to, where you're feeling it out, except for the fact that it actually matters. So I think that's part of my issue too.
Totally fair. And apparently, the Jets going to play some starters in their preseason game coming up on Friday. And I hope you brought the fisticuffs because they were brawling.
Yeah,
Bucks and Jets were brawling the other day. I like the sound of that. All right, Sal, a couple of YouTube comments before we say goodbye. On this one from John Bastone, 1430. I don't know. Oh, this is in reference to the Yankees. There we go. So now I have the context. And I just closed it out. Here we go. This is the failure of the minor leagues that will not teach the fundamentals. I'm sorry. Jones strikes out too much. He needs to know how to bunt because he doesn't make enough contact to move runners to allow him to swing away.
Come on.
I mean, here's the problem with that. The guy's hitting second or third in a minor league lineup basically his entire minor league career. Tough to have guys like that bunting. Now, I do have a problem, Sal, with the makeup of Spencer Jones' offensive profile. I don't think you like it either. It's 3 outcomes. It's walk, it's strikeout, it's home run.
Like the majority of Yankees, by the way.
Too many guys like that. So you'd like somebody to be able to hit a ground ball to second base. If you want to tell me that's a problem, go right ahead. Jones bunting, no, I'm not going to get nuts about that.
He's not there to bunt. Yeah, you have to let it go. Like, stop trying to stick a square peg in a round hole. I'm not saying that I would love to have well-rounded ball players up and down the lineup. That's what is appealing to me about the way the Mets are with Ewing and Benj in particular. Those guys do everything well. Maybe not all-star level yet, but they do everything well. And then you balance that out with having a star or two in the middle of that order. It is something to me that the Yankees have failed year after year after year. You have the powerhouses in Judge and Stanton, and now obviously you throw Rice into that mix. Build around them with well-rounded players. It's one of the reasons why I love Cody Bellinger so much. He can do a little bit of everything. He hits lefties. He'll put the bat on the ball. Not, he's not going to strike out 150 times, or at least I don't think, the way that a lot of the other guys will with the all or nothing outcomes. But Jones is not that player.
Sal, this one's a little harsh from Baja Magui, 6531. Met fans can't deflect from disgrace of last 2 seasons and they overhype prospects. Go Braves. Who's your daddy? You can go wherever you want with this one. Have fun.
Okay, here's what I'll go with that. I don't. Can you curse on this podcast?
I think you can.
Okay.
I don't know what you can and can't say, but yeah, go ahead.
I don't give a shit about the
go.
Braves right now.
There you
The
go.
Mets season is long over. If you think I'm worried about the Braves, you are wrong. B, this is not the year for the Braves to be talking smack to the Mets. It's the first time in 8 years the Mets actually beat them in a season series. That's more embarrassing for you. The Braves say the Mets can't beat anybody. They're horrible this year. We admit it. See, unlike the people in Atlanta or the fans of an Atlanta team, you can't admit reality. We admit reality here in New York. We know when our teams stink. I'll be the first to say it. JJ be the first to say it. The Mets stink. Haha, like joke's on you. It's not on us. We know they stink. But yet somehow they still beat the Braves in a season series. So I'm enjoying the role of spoiler and beating up on the Braves. And what I will say is get them in now. Because I firmly believe once Steve Cohen figures it out, whether it's with Stearns or with somebody else, there will be hell to pay. Eventually. Maybe not now. Eventually. And by the way, the Yankees own the Braves. So take that. We got 2 teams here in New York. And if the Mets don't beat the Braves, the Yankees will, just like they've been doing for the last 30 freaking years. So
it's funny. I said that to a couple of Brave fans. I looked at them and I said, thank you for 96. Thank you for 99. I did. I said that. They were very pleasant, very nice, talking at the bar, exchanging pleasantries. But I did mention that on Friday night a couple of times. Final one, Sal. Love the movie talk. Keep it up. You see Spider-Man?
I did.
Did you like it?
Liked. I wouldn't say loved it. I thought it was good.
But quickly, because I don't want to spend too much time on this.
Yeah.
Best movie of the Holland Spider-Mans or no?
I'd have to refresh my memory. I've seen them all. I remember liking the last one, and the last one was with like all.
That was with all of them.
Yeah,
correct.
And what was the one before that? That was the first one of his.
I think there were 2 others, if I'm not mistaken.
I got to go back and do a rewatch. Here's what I would tell you. My feeling coming out of this movie was not the same feeling that I had when I went to see the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie. Now maybe that's because it was coming off of the cheesier ones with Tobey Maguire, and I saw that one. I was like, wow, this is great. I thought it was very good. I enjoyed it. I would rewatch it in line with rewatching all the Spider-Mans. But I'm just going to say this. I know you don't want to sit in the movie theater for 3 hours. It was nothing compared to the Odyssey.
I understand that.
Like
maybe that's your point of comparison. That's the problem too.
Well, I should, yeah, maybe because I just saw the Odyssey last week. So it was good. It was very good.
Oh, would you give it 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10?
Yeah, I mean, I would say no. I would say higher than 6, 7.5, maybe even 8. But like the expectation, a lot of people were saying that this was the best Spider-Man that they've seen.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
I said it was the best Holland that I'd seen.
Okay, and
what's your Tom Holland that I'd seen?
What is your favorite? Tobey Maguire ones or Garfield?
Yes, the second Tobey Maguire one with Doc Ock is my favorite one.
Okay, yeah. See, I mean, I like those. Those are totally different. I really, really enjoyed and liked this movie. I don't think it was the best of the Spider-Mans, not even the best of the Holland.
Well, I can tell you this. When all these movies come out, I'm doing a rewatch.
Yep.
Because I think I need to finalize this. This might be like a February project. I actually like this.
Excellent point. We'll go over them and re-rank them after rewatching them.
I think I need a proper re-ranking. All right, Sal, good stuff. We'll see you on Friday. That's for Sal Licata. I'm John Jastrzemski, New York Sports Rush, right here on the Bet Rivers Network.